TJ the Wheel Joe coming at you live. It is Sunday, January the 18th, 9:46 a.m. Central Time, Texas time. We're gonna shoot the breeze a little bit this morning. We'll talk God, family, football, some stocks. There's a new small pivot I'm going to make in the on the channel. So I wanted to kind of like talk to you guys about it, and I'm gonna do some little bit of research on some tickers here this morning with you guys. So essentially, I want to take a couple $1,000,000 and I want to do like a 4-horse race. So it's like $500,000 per stock, or maybe $250,000 per stock. And I want to see if there's a double, in one of these stocks, like kind of like play like a little game, if you will. Like, you got like your life depends on it and you got to double this money by the end of this calendar year. Like, what stock would you pick and how would you go about it? Like, could it be as simple as buying, let's just say we use $500,000 as the number. Most likely it'll be $500,000. Could even be $1 million. Who knows? Like, I could just take stocks in the portfolio that are now, zero them out and be like, these are the 4 horsemen. And that's all that I'm going to talk about on the channel whenever I'm public. And then for the members only, I'll go through the rest of the portfolios. So that could be something, right? It could be like the 4 horsemen and do $1 million per stock and be like, okay, gun to your head, you got to double this money by the end of 2026, or you got to shoot the horse. Like, which stock would you pick? Which one? What strategies would you utilize? And do you think it's realistic without, taking on too much risk? So anyway, that's what's going on. For those of y'all that have been following my 1 minute with God, I've already posted that on X. I think that it already posted. Let me check here. I'm going to go to my X in the background. You guys won't see me toggling, but I'm going to see if it already posted. Yeah, it's already. No, I guess it didn't post. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, cool. Yes, it already posted. So I'm going to go ahead and read it again here with you guys. That way, we give God the respect that he deserves. Obviously, 1 minute with God is nothing. It's something that I started this year because I feel like, we should devote half an hour to God on a daily basis, because without him, we wouldn't be here, right? Wouldn't be anything. So let me knock that out real quickly. I'm going to read it real quick. It's about wisdom. It's how can I gain wisdom? Giving God first place in your life is a prerequisite to receiving his wisdom. God promises to give wisdom to anyone who asks, but asking God for wisdom is hollow if you are not willing to give God control of your heart. Wisdom comes from the Holy Spirit who lives in those who believe in Christ. Thus, wisdom is found in relationship with God. Teach me your ways, O Lord, that I may live according to your truth. Grant me purity of heart, that I may honor you. Psalms 86:11. So for those of y'all that aren't familiar with the Bible, that's chapter 86, verse 11. Lead me in the right path, O Lord. Tell me clearly what to do and show me which way to turn. Psalms 5:8. If you need wisdom, if you want to know what God wants you to do, ask him, and he will gladly tell you. He will not resent your asking. James chapter 1, verse 5, God's challenge. The fear of the Lord is true wisdom. To forsake evil is real understanding. Job 28:28. Man, wisdom's critical. I think that's what we all seek. That's what we all seek, is we all seek wisdom. We all seek understanding, right? It's like we want to try to make sense of this crazy little world that we live in, right? So it's an ongoing quest, man. We aren't born wise. Hopefully you could die wise, right? and then you want to like impart that wisdom on your fellow man. Anyway, there's a few of you rocking with me this morning. How are you? What's going on, Manish? What's going on, Luipi94? Hope you guys are doing well. We got 14 people on YouTube this morning. We got 123 people that have seen the link on X. So anyway, the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about the little challenge, if you will. So I'm going to go over here to X. So I think the reason it doesn't show sound, hold on. Wait a minute. So stop screen. So I'm going to share the screen. Oh, it is already sharing with audio. Okay, there we go. Okay, awesome. Got it. There we go. So this was the idea. This was the idea for the little challenge. We'll start here this morning. So let me see if I can find it. This one's a funny one here, by the way. It's like my little riddle. Because I believe in full transparency. We're going to talk about stocks, at least show a position. It's like watch what they do, not what they say. That's my thing, right? So what do you call a guru who knows everything about every stock but never shows anything? A furu, a course seller, an entertainer at best. Show me your position and I'll know how you really feel. Watch what they do, not what they say. If they aren't willing to show, I don't care what they have to say. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. That's why I don't watch a lot of these shows that are just like a bunch of mental masturbation podcast form, just talking about stocks and presenting these amazing bull cases and stuff. But it's like, I don't know whether or not to take them seriously because are they just bored? How do they know everything about these stocks? I mean, show me that you're actually invested in the stock, and I'd be more inclined to listen to what you have to say. It's like, in other words, what I'm saying is I don't like stock commentators. Like I'm like, there's CNBC's already there for that shit. Like I don't even, most of the time the volume's down when I have it on that channel. I'm just looking at the tickers, right? I'm just looking at the tickers and the price action. So anyway, that's just kind of how I roll. And let me see who I'm driving this bad boy later today, guys. Oh man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's a CVO 2016. They have the Road Glide and they got the Street Glide. I believe this one's the Street Glide. The only difference really between a Road Glide and the Street Glide is on the Road Glide, the fairing stays straight. It's like attached somehow. And to the steering column. Whereas on a Street Glide, when you move the handlebars, the fairing moves with you. It's kind of interesting. So in case y'all didn't know, and then on the Road Glide, it looks like a shark. Like if you look at it from the side, it kind of looks like a shark. And then on the Street Glide, it kind of looks like the Batmobile. So in case of y'all, just a little stuff. I'm a motorcycle guy, so I know these kinds of things. Landman, I think is just a really, really good show. I posted it on here. Then I asked this question: Is EOSC like the new Enovix? I remember a couple years ago, people couldn't stop talking about Enovix, and now I feel like that's what EOSC is now too. I don't think EOSC is a profitable company yet. I think there's a lot of excitement behind it right now. Broke my Meta glasses. That sucks. And apparently I didn't buy a warranty. And so my wife called Sunglass Hut in Houston at the Galleria, and she spoke to the manager, and she's like, yeah, well, we can make an exception, but you have to come to the store personally. And I was like, why can't we just mail you the damn glasses and, mail me back the other ones? And I'm like, no, that would be too easy, right? We can't do that. That's too easy. So then I was like trying to like find a workaround. Because I was just like, let's just go to the Sunglass Hut over here. I'll buy the damn glasses, like $800, whatever, right? And I think the lenses are still good, so they'll just swap out the lenses, and I'm good to go. Reprogram the new glasses to the phone, and we're done, right? We're done. But my wife's like, no, she's more like tenacious than I am. She's more like persistent. She's like, no, let's talk to them. They'll work with us. They didn't offer us the warranty, which is true. I don't think they did offer us the warranty because it would have bought us like $100. So she called and then she got the lady to be like, we'll make an exception, but you got to come to the store personally. And then my wife calls again. She's like, what if we can get somebody else to go to the store for us? Would you work with us that way? And they're like, yeah, we'll do that. So we're trying to get the particulars on that. I've already got a couple of folks that said they could do it for me. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like somebody spent $500 and time to go over there to save a couple $100. I mean, it just doesn't work out, right? It just doesn't work out, and I just don't have time for that right now. So anyway, this is another banger of a post here. I'm trying to show like more content on X that actually really helps people to like sell strangle specifically or calls, puts, whatever it is. But this is one here, guys. If y'all didn't read this and really pay attention to what I show here, this is a real big key. It's a banger of a post. It's when selling a short strangle, I always glance at the 50 and 200-day moving averages along with the 52-week highs and lows. With a big position, I prefer, and this is really with any position, but preferably when it's a huge position. And for me, what's a big position? I would have to go all in at these levels. With a big position, I prefer the short call to be way above the 52-week high, and I want the short put below the 200-day moving average. Why? Because the 200-day moving average should act like a lot of support. So I want to be on the other side of that support, right? You want to be on the other side of the wall. Look at it like a wall. It works pretty well for me. And I show the example on the Palantir short strangle, right? We've got 700 short puts at 140. And then we've got the short calls or the naked calls. These would be naked puts, naked calls, if you want to use that terminology. And we got 1,100 of the naked calls at 240. So look at those levels, 140 and 240. Those are your goalposts. And then over here, I posted this screenshot from Yahoo Finance. 52-week high is 207. So 240 is way above 207, right? 240 being the short call, the naked call. The 52-week low is 66. So I'm cognizant of that already. It's on the radar. I've got the short puts at 140. And we got a 50-day moving average of 178, which is right around where Palantir happens to be trading right now. So it's already hugging another line of support if it's above it, or it's hugging another line of resistance if it's below it. So it's like right there. It's like it's gravitating right at the 50-day moving average right now, but it's still way above the 200-day moving average. That's why I was comfortable selling the puts at 140 because I was like, oh, I'm going to be on the other side of the 50. So that's like one line of defense. And then I'm going to be on the other side of the bigger line of defense, which is the 200-day moving average, because it's very hard for stock prices to just pierce through these, whether they're going down or going up. Like they kind of like hang out there for a hot minute, and that's where the bulls and the bears fight with each other to see who's going to regain control, if you will. That's why, and then like technical terms, they call them like golden crosses and death crosses and all this other shit, right? So anyway, we keep it a little bit more simple on this channel. But anyway, that's something that y'all can visually see. So, instead of like looking at the charts and all that stuff, that's all fine and dandy. But Yahoo Finance is really good when it says like show more statistics. It'll give you that information right there, and you can just glance at it and it updates it for you on a daily basis. So I just, really works for me. So I'm trying to find this one here. I want to feature this post here as well. Marathon used to be the Wall Street darling for Bitcoin miners, guys. Where exactly did it go wrong? They actually still do have the largest Bitcoin hodl of any miners. The only company in the world that holds more Bitcoin than Marathon Digital is Strategy. Those are the facts. But Wall Street, not liking them right now. Not liking them right now because I think Wall Street wants a Bitcoin pivot. They want to pivot to high performance compute, artificial intelligence, and I think that Marathon's been kind of a laggard in this particular position. Another quote that I shared here that I just think is absolutely awesome is never accept criticism from someone you would never go to for advice. That's wisdom right there. If somebody doesn't have what you want in life, why should you care what they have to say? They ain't doing life the way you want to do life. I only listen to people who have what I want in whatever aspect that may be, whether it's a healthy marriage, whether they're wealthy, whether they're fit. I'm not going to listen to a fat guy about fitness. Think about that. Think about that. It's like an oxymoron, right? Like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm not going to listen to a broke guy on how to be rich, how to get wealthy. I mean, you can't figure it out for yourself. How are you going to teach me how to do it? I'm not going to listen to somebody on selling options when they've had a couple of successful trades, and I've made millions for us, working on the tens of millions now, selling options. It's hard. Like I got to go to different sources. I'm looking for people that have made billions doing this thing. Those people are proving harder to access. So never accept criticism from someone you would never go to for advice. That is your wisdom of the day. You're welcome. Got paid $197.77 for the last 2 weeks on X, posting a bunch of stuff. And I used that to buy Bitcoin, about $200 worth of Bitcoin. Here's another banger for you guys. Bees don't waste time trying to convince flies that honey is better than shit. That's your pro tip for a long weekend. Some minds are just not made to change, guys. So don't waste your time trying to do that. I always say, not in the convincing business. If you don't follow me on X, please do so. Trying to get to 40,000 followers. Been stuck over here at between 38,000 and 39,000 for a couple of weeks now, it seems. I watched this banger of an episode of Jason Les talking about his deal with AMD. He went on a block space. I think he probably already went on McNally Money as well. So there's that. And I can't. Oh, this one was funny. So let me see if I can find that. If you had $500,000 and you had to double it, I can't seem to find that post. Not sure. Oh, here we go. Let's have a little fun because I'm looking to start a series. You have 500,000 and you need to double by the end of the year. You need to double by the end of the year. You can only pick one ticker to get it done using all the tools in your kit. What's your ticker, and what's your strategy? So let's go through these together. And then I want you guys to chime in on the chat. And then before I do this as well, what I want to do is I want to invite anybody that might want to come on. So we'll invite a guest here, copy. Oh, it's not allowing me to invite a guest, is it? Invite a guest, copy, paste. Anybody wants to come on? It's totally informal day. We're just shooting the breeze today, man. Just shooting the breeze today. Hey, what's going on? Terrence, appreciate you. What's going on? Bill, click the link, man, if you're hanging out, or, if you're not too busy with the family. Good morning, TJ. I have 30K in cash that I have to use. What stocks do you think are good to strangle? We'll get into that. What's going on, Shamu? So anyway, let's see what Twitter had to say about this right here. And then I'm curious what you guys would think. And then I'll tell you guys what I am, the stocks that I'm eyeballing for the challenge, if you will. What stocks that I'm eyeballing for the challenge. I don't know why it's not letting me do anything here. I'm trying to get these. Oh, here we go. So this person is saying BAIG. Haven't heard of BAIG, to be honest with you. Never heard of that ticker. Two Pump Chump is saying, oh my God, is that really your screen name? Is that really where you're going to rock with? So 200 iron condors on the triple Qs, on the Qs. So every trading day, so 1,000 contracts each week, each set to expire a week out, $5 spreads. That sounds complicated. One DTE, days to expiration, XPX, Martingale Condors with an upside down happy face. CRWG, September strike. Man, that's like all risk, all reward right there. I've never heard of this one either. The ticker options growth traders saying my pick would be Oscar. I'm long 20,000 shares. You see, so when someone, granted, he's not like posting a screenshot or whatever, so you got to take people at their word, right? Got to give them, the doubt of the benefit, as my dad likes to say, not the benefit of the doubt. He says, I'm long 20,000 shares. It's currently in a weekly handle of the cup, like cup and handle, I guess. Break of 23 and targets 40 plus. I sold coverage strangles repeatedly and I use premium to accumulate the shares. My SoFi 2.0 trade CEO is former CEO of Aetna before it was sold to CVS. That's interesting. Enphase looks nice for wheeling at these levels after being beat down. Even if assigned, capital appreciation could potentially do some heavy lifting here. Premiums are still quite juicy. I agreed, but I like Enphase at these levels, but I already have a massive position on it though, so it wouldn't work for this challenge. I need a new ticker because I'm trying to use something that I'm not already in, or if I'm willing to close it out and start fresh, right? I could theoretically do that with Enphase as well, but because the caveat here is depending on the dollar amount that I use. If I'm just going to do it with just like one ticker, if I want to do like a 4-horse race, I think the 4-horse race might be a little bit more compelling because we'll like cheer to see which stock would get there, and it could have been just as easy as just buy some calls, or it could have been just as easy as buy the shares and watch them double. And I think that the reason that this challenge really appeals to me is because one, the dollar amount is more significant, right? Because I'd be doing it with bigger money, so I don't want to do like these little $10,000 challenges and stuff. It's just not really worth my time. But what I'm trying to show is a lot of people are in the right horses. A lot of people are in the right stocks already. But it's about how you ride that horse, how you jockey that horse that makes a big difference. You have two wheelers, two traders, two investors be in the exact same stock for the exact same amount of time. And that doesn't mean that they're all going to make the exact same money percentage wise on these stocks, because if they're in and out, they're implementing different strategies. One of them just buy, hold, and hope. The other person's doing covered strangles, running spreads, whatever, right? Throwing the whole arsenal at it. They're going to have different results at the end of the day during the same timeline. So just kind of keep that in mind. So that's kind of what I that's the visual that I want to show you guys for the next year, that the horse is one thing, but the jockey's another thing. And they're both important. I'd argue that the jockey's more important than the horse in this case. If you're not just a buy, hold, and hope investor. If you're a buy, hold, and hope investor, then you don't have to do anything. Just buy the shares and hope that it goes up. That's it. That's your job. Just accumulate shares, as many as you can, as many as you're comfortable with, and hope the stock goes up. You're done after that. You're done after that. So anyway, theta philosophy. buy $250,000 of EOSC, sell EOSC puts on every 5 to 10% dip, collect income, accept assignment if in the money, rinse and repeat. Do not sell covered calls. So he doesn't want or she doesn't want to sell covered calls on the 250,000. So I'm like, dude, that's a lot of dead money there, though. So if it's me, if I wanted to add like a wrinkle to this, if I wanted to rock with EOS or EOSC, I like this strategy because it's effectively running a covered strangle, but I would add the calls. And then I would consider using the put premium and the call premium to buy some longer dated calls. That way I still have a substantial upside participation that I could lock in. And I don't have to sacrifice the premium flow. So I like this one a lot. I like this one a lot. Not necessarily on the ticker. We'll see. RGTI, long puts and calls, not familiar with the ticker. MSTR and covered calls. I already have a massive, massive position on MSTR, so I can't do this on MSTR. I could potentially consider MSTX. I could potentially consider that. SoFi, probably I'd save Zeta for more thrill. TJ, let me give you a sure shot. It's Roblox. In fact, it's a 10x opportunity, in my opinion, by 2032. Interesting. And then Sergio says it definitely isn't going to happen by selling puts and calls. Pick a ticker and hold on for dear life. Can I sell when the QCCO doubles, or does it have to be there by December the 31st? I go, a covered strangle could work. Buy 250,000 worth of the underlying, sell calls, collect premium, sell $250,000 worth of puts, collect premium after a couple of rounds, buy some longer dated calls for upside in case the stock shoots up and you don't want to roll those covered calls. That math might math. Right? It's whenever you get the double, you buy freaking, you go all in on BMU at 5 and it goes to 10 in a week. Well, you're fucking done, right? Challenge 1. So I'm thinking about doing this. And maybe doing it with 3 other people. And maybe this becomes our wheelers for the year, where we have like the 4 horses. I'm riding the one. Obviously, I'd be bankrolling the entire project, but I'm rocking with the one stock, jockeying the stock, and then I would give them control of the other 3. That could be very, very compelling. Obviously, it'd have to be somebody that I trust, that I really, really trust. Like the Dallas Matthews, the Bill Whites of the world, like that level of trust, maybe option, somebody that I know that knows the game, because I'd have to give them like on my side, I'd obviously push the buttons, but it's like however they would want to manage that position. That could be interesting, and maybe we have like a cash prize, like $1,000, $5,000 to the winning jockey or something like that. That could be really fun. Trying to make this fun, because this gets boring for me, right? Doing the same shit all the time, doing the portfolio update. That's why I like taking the channel members only, because I'm like, I can do the portfolio update with those guys in like 10, 15 minutes and be done, because they're not here for all the entertainment. They just need the plays, and we move on with our lives, right? And then we shoot the shit on the WhatsApp group all day and night. And some of these people don't sleep, and then there's people from different parts of the world, different time zones, right? So that WhatsApp group is constantly churning and burning. So that could be interesting. Let me know if you'd consider wanting to be a jockey, if you'd want to be one of those wheelers. If we do it with $250,000, $500,000, if you'd be comfortable with that level, like if your confidence is there, you don't need the money. We already got the bankroll here. This could be very, very compelling. Now, mind you, I'd have veto power, right, as the president, if you will. So if I absolutely disagree with the methodology, then I'd be like, dude, I'm sorry, I just can't do that. That's ridiculous. That's reckless, whatever the case may be. So you'd have to understand that as well, right? Because At the end of the day, it's our money on the line. So anyway, let me know if something like that would be compelling for you guys. Anyway, buy and hold HIMS. A stock trend suggests a double or down 66%. That sounds like a lot of risk reward. I'll go with BM&U. Already in that one though. I'm already in that one, but yes, BM&U is like a freaking no-brainer. No-brainer. I think it's Hood, sell the 90 puts and strangle. Boeing, I'd grab Amazon, 330 leaps, and that's asking Amazon to do a lot to double your money in 1 year. Easy Ons, this is a drone company. I'd start with this cash secured put. I'll take the 500,000, use 500 margin. Keep in mind, we wouldn't be going over the notional here. So you're going to sell an X amount of puts. It can't tally up to more than the 250,000, 500,000, whatever's being allocated. And then they're showing their position, or I guess this is a potential trade, right? Side note, he did this trade near the close on Friday for 325 contracts. And the company's not profitable yet, but everything looks good. And this is his position on Friday. And this is what I like, right? A picture's worth 1,000 words. So I could see this and I'll be like, okay, now let me look a little bit closer, because this person is showing 325 contracts, collected $4.35 1 month out. Ons is trading at 12.31, and he's over here selling $16 puts. So he's selling puts in the money. I was like, that's interesting. And then I commented, you're that bullish that you sold deep in the money puts. Did you consider? I took a playbook out of you guys, right? Look at what I proposed to him. Did you consider selling out of the money put leaps and then using the premiums to buy leaps calls? That synthetic long might be a lot safer with just as much upside. Just a thought. So anyway, just a thought, right? Just a thought. IBIT, fat premiums, Bitcoin is the asset. Obviously, buy dips, sell the rips. That's not horrible. That is not horrible. Any risk management criteria for the exercise, or is it get the job done by any means necessary? Don't lose money. Rule number 1. My ticker would be TJ the Whale Deal. You would have to be super bullish on BM&R. I have no idea, but BM&U just maybe. ETHU, which I think is a leverage play on Ethereum, an Ethereum ETF or something like that. Open, IBRX calls, ASTS. I think this is in the space category. I like this game. Open. Yeah, we're going to close the door on open. It won't be, I can promise you it won't be open. All in on ASST under $1. Yeah, no. And it's not that I don't think that one's good. I actually think that might be the easiest one, if you will, but we already got the 250,000 shares. So, I can't use that one because it's already being utilized. And I think I put on here. It's already had the 250,000 shares, and here you go. Open. Yeah, I'm just no. Buy and hold could work at $11 or so. Would be very appealing. This is again on the OSC. On a pullback. This one's hot, right? This one's hot from a sentiment perspective, and it seems like all the stars are aligning for this particular stock. So we'll see. SoFi aggressive will strategy. I'd have to really study the premiums. They aren't as juicy as they used to be. They just aren't. Wondering if the Supreme Court decision could offer the entries. Watching that this week. As much as I hate to say it, it's probably just buying and holding BM&R. Short calls on the VIX after the semi-annual Trump Tower spike. Will in between. Hood. Still cover calls 9 to 12 months out at 220 to 250. Selling puts at 75 to 690 months out. Price goes down. Take profit on one leg. Price goes up. Take profit on the other side of the trade and reinsert. When trade goes the other way, rinse and repeat for the next 9 months. That is a manageable strategy. I have to see the math. Have to see the premiums, etc. Right? UEC powering the nuclear data center build out. Interesting. That's interesting. Let me go ahead and just put that interesting. Is interesting because data centers, all the craze. BBAI. There's this Tesla groupie that I follow. I think she's like a hairstylist or something in California. And she's always doing something with this ticker right here. And Ron, Mr. G, brought it to my attention as well. But I think he also said he thought the company might be a scam. He wasn't sure, but he had made some money with it. Strict rule strategy might work. Potentially aim for 2% or more gains on premiums each week. Often very doable for we manufacture base hits every week. We'll use a couple of auction strategies, short strategies, ratio spreads. Riot probably could get away with just buying commons. That's buying shares. I wish I knew I was going to try to wheel Intel, but premiums are not great. About 1,500 on 45,000, 30 days out. That's only 18,000 a year. MSTR or Mara. NBIS selling puts. One bite, everybody knows. AMZ buy 120. The ticker is ES, and the strategy is selling puts and spreads 45 days out, 20 delta. Interesting. MSTR or Tesla sell puts and cover calls. Buy and hold Iron should be a double play. Any of the four stocks below, Iron, Galaxy, Cypher, HUD 8. Sounds like this person's really into the HPC AI. In phase 50 by end of the year. That is fair. That is fair. I could see that happening. You see that happening. Put 250,000 into TSLL weekly at the money straddles now and 250K after earnings. Roll cover calls up and out and keep up with price rise, rinse and repeat. Insane premiums. When TSLA goes up, you can get some of the intrinsic gain too by rolling up and out. If TSA goes down, aggressive without the money straddles. Could happen. I just don't like Tesla at these levels, right? Tesla comes down 100 points. You got my attention. I would buy Galaxy and honestly just hold it. That's fair. If you need a double by the end of February, 1 month time horizon, then RDW gets you that double. The only problem for those who sell on February will be missing the 200% returns that come in the remaining months to close out 2026. Space is the theme. RDW is the ticker. Interesting. ASTS, space theme, just hodl and do nothing on strategy. That seems plausible as well. Plausible, feasible. Iron, maybe Intel. Tesla, 500K plus margins for selling puts. Selling weekly calls and puts, 1.2 per week from options, 35% appreciation on shares. Tesla closes the year at 600. That's a double. That doesn't sound like it's out of the realm of possibilities. That doesn't sound like it's out of the realm of possibilities. Blow, BLOW. I don't know if that's an actual ticker or if he's just like making a joke, right? Because I think they refer to cocaine as blow. Because of the movie Blow. ETH, Riot, Open, MU, it's Micron, NVD, 2 times short, VG, buy and hold, Iron Leaps, BMNR, Tesla Iron Condor, Easy, Cypher. The rate it's going, just buy and hold SDNK, SKYT and Chill, SoFi, Oscar right now, Amazon, the casino, Iron, no doubt, Hims. I mean, you see where people are at. Elf, Tesla, no brainer, TMC and Chill, Iron. There's a bunch. Let me see what you guys have to say. Let me see what you guys have to say. Where are we at? Repost it. What's going on, Bill? Okay, let's get with this one here. And we got more people tuned in here. We got almost 600 people. Seen the link on X. We got 45 people on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. We're just kind of shooting the breeze this morning. The wife's sleeping. She doesn't want me to bother her. Football's not till 2 o'clock. So we're going to talk a little football here too. Lost a little bit of money yesterday. So that took away from my Bitcoin hodl. Lost like $300 or $400 yesterday. So hopefully I'll do better today because any winnings that I have sports betting, I'm putting those into the Bitcoin hodl. Angel, what's going on, my man? Morning Wheelers. Playing Old Maid with my daughter while I watch. Can't hop on, but let's do Wheeler soon for sure. Trump going to tank the market again. Oh God, Trump, man, Jesus. Appreciate you. Good morning. Count me in. I'll match trades in my own portfolio. Right on. So anyway. So we got God, we got family. Y'all spending some family time. What are you guys doing? Comment on the chat. Comment on the chat. What are you guys doing with the family? And how do you do it to like prioritize your wife in your life whenever you're like really, really addicted to your career? Because that's something that I feel like I struggle with a little bit. I'm married to the most beautiful woman in my mind, right? Like I don't think I could have done better than her. And I spend a lot of time, in my career or my profession. And then sometimes she wants to like go do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I don't feel like doing that because I don't want to like step away from what I'm doing. So it's hard for me, it's hard for me. Like she drugged me to this damn sushi restaurant yesterday. I don't eat sushi, so I'm just sitting there and we're there for like 2 hours. And I'm like, baby, like let's get home already. Like we're just hanging out at the restaurant. I'd rather be hanging out over there with the dogs at home and stuff. And it's like, no, I just want to like enjoy the atmosphere and hang out here. She was drinking her freaking little martinis or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm bored out of my damn mind. I was bored out of my mind at that damn sushi restaurant. But if we're like at a Dave and Buster's or a main events or a walk-ons and then there's sports on and stuff, then I'm like more excited to be there for a couple of hours. UFC's on the background, a football games on the background and stuff. And so she was like, well, how come you don't mind like doing those things? And I was like, well, I think it's because I don't drink and I'm not like a foo-foo eater. So if you put me in a position where there's at least something that I'm like more interested in, then I'm more inclined to want to hang out here and watch you drink and eat. And then I think it made sense to her. That's why I don't mind David Buster's because I'm like a big kid. I'll play video games and stuff. And I'm more entertained and she's more like a foo-foo fancy eater, have her little one or two drinks and stuff. And that's where we just have to always try to find the common ground with your spouse. That's your marriage tip of the day. But prioritize her, make her feel or him feel like the most important person in your life because they should be. They should be. Anyway, Mark, my man, thanks for joining. I appreciate you. How are you?
Good. Just relaxing this Sunday, getting over the flu. So.
Oh man, yeah, dude, this stuff's been going on, dude. It's been going around. It's been going around. My wife got sick week and a half ago, and then I came down a little bit too. I had a rough week. And starting to feel better now. Like I haven't worked out in almost 2 weeks. Like I go in there and I do like a set here, a set there, but not like an actual workout. You know what I mean? And I think I'm gonna try later today or tomorrow to see if I can go through like just like a little 15-minute, 20-minute routine. How long have you been down for the count?
I just got over it. I was about 3 or 4 days. So
yeah,
of course now it's a cold, rainy day on the East Coast, calling from Wilmington, North Carolina. So
Yeah, North Carolina is beautiful, right? I have my uncle who lived there for several years. He was the general manager for a restaurant chain called the Western Steer.
Hmm.
The Western Steer, and my cousin Nathan still lives there, and did. I mean, he said the food was good. I never tried it. So, but I mean, what's he gonna say, right? And they paid his bills for several years. But anyway, so what you got going on? Did you catch the first part of the stream? What do you think about the idea of kind of doing like a 3 or 4 horse race? I'll jockey one horse. I have, 2 or 3 wheelers jockey the other horses, and that's kind of, we can like keep that going like once a week just to kind of like see where everybody's at, what are they thinking, etc. And the idea is like you got to get a double, so you gotta play for that. So it's hard, right? It's
Yeah.
hard. So it has to be someone that's not that conservative in nature, but at the same time not so reckless. So that's the balance that we seek, right? When we sell options.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, it's like people think that selling options is crazy. I'm like, no, we just want static income. Buying, holding, and freaking riding this roller coaster, that's tough. And then there's no realized gains, there's no income generation. You're like forced to go do life. Whenever we sell options and we generate income, Mark, like we turned that into a job. We turned that aspect into a job, an income.
Yeah.
So because everyone's gonna be looking at the damn portfolio all day, you should be generating some revenue, right? Like some legit revenue that you could theoretically extract from your account to live on. That's the idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And I think it'll really help the audience because I was just thinking about this yesterday. Me and a buddy are watching the game, talking football and stocks, is that, where I started out 3 or 4 years ago, you see those shows like this is how you do a strangle, this is how you
Right.
do this. And it's like, okay, but how do I know which stock to do that to?
Right.
And that's what I liked about you doing episodes on doing the homework and investigating.
Yeah.
And then I think your idea will really bring it together or has a chance to bring it together.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do is like I want to take people through the M's. I want to take people through the M's in this process on how I would land on this ticker. Because I'm going to throw a couple of names out there that I'm considering. 3 Bitcoin miners that I'm considering that I think could legit work for this project right now. One is Marathon Digital. The other one is CleanSpark. And the other one is our beloved Riot. I think all 3 of those, there's enough juice in the premiums. And there might be enough potential upside during this calendar year to grab that double. But I don't want to just rely on buying the freaking shares and hoping and praying for a double, because that's not also going to make for the show, right? What are we going to do? We're going live on Wheelers. We're going to monitor the stock price. Okay, cool. I mean, that's going to be a 2-minute episode of Fuck Wheelers, right? That's not going to work.
Well, yeah, and if I was just thinking, if one of those horses bolts, I mean, that would be in a lesson because you probably, you'd forced to take profit.
Yeah.
In that double, if you get a little too greedy, and you get a little premium drunk.
Yeah.
In the good way.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. So I think I'm going to have a Wheelers next week. And see if we can see who wants to participate, and then we can like come up with like the parameters for the game, if you will, for the challenge. See if we can agree with the price, because if it's our capital, and these guys use their brain or gals use their brain and they get us a double, I would like for there to be a little bit of a compensation there for them. So it's, like, cause I don't believe in using anybody, especially when I can just do this shit myself. It's not like I really need them to jockey the horse. Right. So to me, it's like, I feel like I'm giving them a quasi job opportunity here.
Oh, wow.
Well, maybe think about it. Right. I'm like, hey, here's a, if you ever wanted to be a prop firm, if you ever wanted to work for a prop firm, this is kind of like that aspect of it. Here's the 100 grand, the 250 grand, whatever it is. I'm obviously going to monitor, oversee everything. I'm pushing the buttons. They're not able to push the buttons. And then if they get the job done, here's your 1,000, here's your 2,500, whatever it is. Right.
So you do this, commit to this for a whole year then?
Just give me the double for the year, right? That's the idea, because I'm always looking for a double.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, you've kind of done stuff like this before, per se.
The cash grabs, right? You've done a cash grab a couple of times with me, right? I don't remember what stock you picked. I think it might have been something in the tele sector, maybe like Paramount, right? Yeah, so something like that. But no, I'm talking about like nobody has to pitch me their stock and pitch me the methodology.
What do you mean by methodology?
Like, okay, cool. How would you go about trying to get the double? The strategy. Okay. What method are you going to implement? Are you just going to buy a bunch of short dated calls? I might not be interested in that, right? Or are you going to like run a covered strangle? You got my attention because I know that we can I think that I could help, because I'm going to help them too. I'm not just going to be like, just like figure it out because this is our money. But I would like guide them and coach them along the way also. Like, I mean, you're in position 1, but I'm like in position 1A too, right? Yeah. And I can help you and guide you and be like, dude, this is what I'd recommend doing. But again, I don't want to rob them, because if they see something, because they're going to be studying these tickers more than I will, more than likely.
So you'd be kind of like the driver instructor with your own little wheel and brake and gas pedal then.
Of course.
Interesting.
So that's the idea. And obviously I would hope that they're doing something similar in their personal accounts, because why would you want to go and do this and potentially be working with bigger monies than you've ever worked with in most cases, right? Not like Bill White excluded. He's got a huge ass portfolio too, but I'm just, because he said he'd be in, right? But I would recommend, if you believe in it, maybe play some smaller trades similar in your personal account and go make some money that way too, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of like the idea that I've been flirting around with for about 3 years now. To see like if there's something that I could like consistently do on YouTube that would feel like really refreshing, and I don't have to carry the show the whole time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason I don't go live all the time. Because like, especially now as like I mature in my option selling journey, I don't make moves every day anymore. So there's nothing to talk about. There is no portfolio update. I didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? like I'm like, this is the year. Like I have pushed the least amount of my buttons so far in these first 2 or 3 weeks of the market this year, because the portfolios are already pretty established. So the trades are becoming a lot more infrequent, if you will.
So in your book, where would you pull the chapters or stories from your books to execute this?
What do you mean?
Well, this is stuff you've done. You've thought out. I mean, you've written about this in your book, right? In certain aspects.
Yeah, well, all these strategies are in the book. I don't know if I sent you a copy of the manuscript yet, but yeah, it's a lot of it's there. But This would be something totally fresh. This could potentially become like a book of its own, if you will, right? Where I take let's call it $1 million, right? And we have myself, manning one company, right? Jockeying one company, and then we got 3 other wheelers managing the other companies. And it's like who can out wheel the wheel deal, right? That could be kind of the idea, right? Like who can beat me?
Yeah.
Who can beat me? Or it could be the same stock. This is another one that I've toyed with. Let's take the same stock. Let's take the same time frame. Let's take the same starting capital, and I think that I can go make more money with that same stock utilizing the same exact capital. So now we've eliminated all the variables because everything's constant. The only variable now would be you.
Oh, okay. Well, then if you were to do that,
I'm just saying that could be very compelling as well.
Yeah, no, but from what you just said earlier in the conversation, you'd have to give them a lot more executable control.
Well, they're not going to be able to log on to our account and make the trades. That's not going to fucking happen. So I don't know, but I'm saying they're going to be live. They can come live on the channel and we can execute the trade on their portion of the portfolio that they're overseeing, so to speak. But yeah, there's no fucking way I'm going to give somebody my login. Are you crazy? That's just, I mean, let's just be realistic. That is just not going to happen. So it would, it's just something that I'm toying with.
Yeah.
Because I have like a 5-10 year vision, a 20-year vision to where TJ the Wheel deal will eventually be a really, really big prop firm. And I got all the wheelers from my channel.
Yeah.
So this is, again, it's like everybody has like, where do you see your life and stuff? And I feel like that's always where I've been going with it. Like TJ the Wheel deal will be the fucking Wheelers Academy. And people are going to be fucking knocking at my door wanting to go because I'll be there and we'll, like we're going to sell these options together. And I want to eventually be in a position where I can bankroll 5-10 of the best fucking wheelers out there.
That's how you get to your 100 million?
No, that's how I get to $1 billion. I can get 100 million on my own. I don't need anybody for that. I got a legit game plan to get us there. But to add another zero, you're gonna have to go and list some help. Making money is a team sport. Making money is a team sport. So I've mapped this shit out. I've mapped this out, and I really think that. See, I go on YouTube on purpose with a purpose, and I have met some beautiful minds along the way. I have met some beautiful, beautiful minds along the way. Some I feel like I'm able to call friend. And I think that we could do some special, special things together. It changes my life, but even more fulfilling for me is it changes their life. And that's like, when you help other people make their dreams come true, how could your dreams have not come true along the way? Think about that. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun, dude. And what I love is the channels that hasn't like really blown up or anything. So these relationships are genuine, and so yeah, so I got some stuff up my sleeve. Anyway, what about you, Mark? Do you think that you'd have what it takes to do something like that? And if so, what 2 or 3 stocks come to your mind?
Well, I believe I do. Right now, with the guy in the White House, I got 2 uranium stocks. One, what is it? But yeah, Uranium Energy Company, and then what is that other one? Brain fart, excuse me. But I think I told you about them last time I was on. So NXE, Next Generation Energy.
Yeah, that one's close to where I live.
UEC or NXE?
Next.
That's mostly out of Australia, the corporate
There's
headquarters.
one that Matt Money and Chris Patel have been
Oh,
touting.
that's Next Decade.
Yeah,
That's natural gas.
that's like not even an hour from here.
That's natural gas.
Yeah, I've actually had my brother-in-law look into how they're aligned politically here because my father-in-law controls this area.
Yeah.
And he was like, they're solid.
Yeah.
They are solid. Everything's good to go. Nobody hates them. Everybody wants them to win. That's what you want to. I'm just saying, because politics plays a real big role in business, like
Yeah.
it or not. That's just the reality that we live in. So he was able to, with about 4 or 5 phone calls, given how connected the family is down here. He was like, does it fit our criteria? I go, I'm not sure yet. He goes, well, this company, it's going places.
Yeah, it's so Matt and Amit knows, not Matt, Matt and Chris and Steve. It's Venture Global. They're the ones actually selling gas. They've got their picadillos, they piss some people off. Next Decade, they're slow and steady. And they're building slow and steady. Where Venture Global, they're actually having their stuff built in Italy and then brought in. I've been looking at both of them. Venture Global, it hit bottom beginning of the year or end of the last year, hit like 5 or 550, and I was just like, this is the bottom.
Yeah.
I just, that my gut occurred, my conviction, and so I went all in on that to a certain extent, to my budget. Next Decade, yeah, it's because it's not producing and it didn't have that hit like VG did. It was more like the price of gas, so it may climb back to 6 or 7, but
Gotcha.
But the options chain is pretty miserable on that.
Yeah.
Lucky to get 10% annually or 15% annually.
Yeah, I mean, some horse. Again, it's just like that's why I like to use these jockey and horse analogies.
Yeah.
Is because not every horse can be ridden the same way. Like I used to train horses. I've probably broken, I don't know, a couple hundred horses in my life. And horses have different personalities. They're like kids. They're like, if y'all had dogs, like you can have 3 dogs, 4 dogs, and they all have different personalities. Like we have a Maltipoo, and if you touch him when he's sleeping, he'll like growl and bite you. I have the Cavapoo that could be in a dead sleep, and anytime you touch him, he wants to hug and play. He's good. They both live with us, totally different personalities. And horses, they're bigger, obviously, but it's the same thing. They have different personalities. Like the stuff that worked on one horse, like I use the same methodology on all the horses, but some horses would take to certain aspects of the training a lot easier than other aspects of the training. And you just have to like keep earning their trust, but maintaining a level of respect. And eventually they'll let you know that, hey, like it's okay because they're prey animals and we're predators. So imagine what they feel like when you hop on their back for the first time. Because out in the wild, the freaking lion or the tiger or whatever jumps on their back, and that's how they try to kill them. So you're fighting all these hundreds and thousands of years of footprints in their DNA. So this is like, dude, like I was deep in the weeds, like training horses. That is like my passion. Like if I could make millions of dollars doing that, I wouldn't be selling options. Because that is what I love to do. Like put me in a round pen with the freaking 2-3-year-old horse, gelding or a little filly mare, and I'm at home. It's just what I love to do. Like I speak that language. And but it took years to get to that point. Like I'd feel like if I had to like categorize like where I'm at with like my horse knowledge versus like selling options, I'd say that I'm like probably like on a scale a 10. I'm probably like an 8 or 9 on horse, and probably like a 5 to 6 on selling options. But there's no money over there in the horse whispering thing. That's the issue. And you get a couple of broken bones along the way. Like I've had some accidents getting on these horses prematurely because I didn't do like enough groundwork and they just weren't ready. Because the horse is, 1,000 and 1,200 pound animal. I'm a couple hundred. He's gonna win the fight, right? Think about it. He's gonna win the fight. So you gotta make sure that the horse is ready to receive you, and so you guys can join, and he's going to trust you, and then you got to trust him or her. You got to be able to trust it. It's a big ass animal, dude, under you, and where it goes, you go. So,
do you have a stable anywhere?
In Alice, Texas, my brother still has 3 horses, and I own one of them. So I go down there 4 or 5 times a year, and I rope and ride with my brother. And then we're hoping to hit the circuit a little bit more. We team rope.
Oh,
So
nice.
we're hoping to hit the circuit this year if I make a little time. But as we get older now, we're like more interested in learning how to golf because it's just easier. When I get on a horse and I ride, dude, I'm like sore for like 3 weeks, yo. Like, because I don't ride frequently anymore. So it like really affects my body. There's a lot of jiggling, but yeah, man, it's absolutely awesome. It's absolutely awesome. But the reason I like using that horse and jockey analogy is because I've owned probably 10 horses in my lifetime, like personal horses. And they've all had different personalities, man. And they all they ran at different speeds. They loped at, the way that they loped, the way they galloped, the way they felt under me. It was all very unique. It was all very, very unique. And I think that's the way that stocks are also, man, is you have to learn that stock. You have to learn that company to really see how it rides, like why it runs when it runs, why does shit tend to fall apart? It's like we learned that if you've been in the miners for a while, right? Because they're like pumping and pumping, pumping, and then what? Dilution, right? And you're like, whoa. Why? Because they've been undercapitalized from day one. And now there's this pivot to HPC AI because they're like, oh, this is our way to have a permanent solution to our cash flow issues. So on the surface, it seems like, oh, we'll put Bitcoin mining on the back burner, but it's just all about maximizing their power. It's like maximizing their power, right? They only have so much power that's available to them. And it's like, kind of like we say premium per day here, right, on the channel. Mm. So for them, it's like premium for power. Like how much money? We only have so many watts, right? Gigawatts or whatever, depending on the scale, right? Like a ride's got like 1.7, I believe, and they're working on some more. 1.7 gigawatts. So it's like, well, how much revenue can they generate off that 1.7? That's the riddle that Riot has to solve, right?
Yeah.
So is it going to be an X amount via Bitcoin mining? Is it going to be an X amount on getting some more AMDs to sign on the dotted line with them? Is it going to be a combination of both, which is kind of what it's looking like? But if you listen closely to what Jason Les says, it's like it's all up for discussion because I think they've figured out that they are in the energy business. And they control this amount of energy, and they have to maximize the amount of revenue that energy can generate. That is the riddle that they are solving over there. In my opinion.
Well, I mean, when you can no longer mine Bitcoin, what are you going to do with your infrastructure?
Right, but that would be like 2140, right?
Hey, that's 14 years around the corner.
2140.
Okay.
The 21st million Bitcoin not mined until 2140, according to their algorithm. So they got ways to go on that one, but it does get progressively harder. Yes, same thing as motorcycles. Agreed. I've owned, shoot, I've owned a few motorcycles, right? It started with a little Ninja Kawasaki 250cc. Had a ZX6, a couple of ZX6s, I think. My memory serves. Had Ducati. Had 3 Harley Davidsons, I think. 2 Indians. Yeah, I've had, less than 10, but I've had over 5, you know what I mean? The motorcycles, and they all ride and they handle differently. I remember the first bike or 2 that I had, you had to like push this little thing, like prime it, like like it was like it wouldn't turn on all the time. I think it was on the Ninja, this little Kawasaki Ninja 250 that I had. It was like in the cold, it would have a hard time turning on and stuff. So like if it was cold outside and I was riding the bike, I'd go turn on the bike every like hour or so to make sure when I really needed to take off, it would work. And then like I have like this freaking Indian Challenger now. If I don't leave it plugged into the little tender, after like a week or so, the whole system's dead. I've had to replace the battery twice on that bike already in a year because I forget to plug it into the damn tender. It's like a little tickler that keeps the juices flowing to the bike. So it's just, it's just like you learn your product, right? You learn your horse, you learn your motorcycle, etc. So I don't know, man. I think this thing could be fun. I think it could be fun. I do think that I have enough. Yeah, for sure. I feel like I have enough contacts on here that I trust that might be willing to do it. We obviously have to, like, the price has to be reasonable as well. And I feel like on a mids channel, we kind of like semi did that, right? Last year. Yeah. We did, or the year before. Yeah, because I feel like I didn't really go on the channel much in 25. So like in 24, we did like 40, 50 episodes probably on his channel.
He was good at it. I remember you saying,
yeah, I thought he was definitely good. He got better. Like initially, Amid suffered from STD syndrome. Like he was afraid that he was going to acquire a Stocksley transmitted disease. So he was real afraid whenever we'd sell puts, because there was an opportunity where we could have made crazy bank on 2 stocks during those episode series. One was on Shopify. I was like kind of like encouraging him, like, hey, this is a good time to like take ownership. He didn't want to. And then the other one was on TSLL. So we made some money on TSLL, but not nearly as much as we could have made on that particular project, because, again, he's got a lot of people in his ear, right? So like leverage ETS, oh no, etc. But I was like, dude, at these levels, like the best thing that we could do is freaking go buy $500,000 of this shit, sell cover cost $2 or $3 out, and pray that the shares get called the way this thing's trading at $7. We're halfway there, right? It's 50% return. But there's just like some people that they're real bright, but they don't know how to do basic math sometimes, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, his napkin math is pretty bad. I mean,
yeah. I'm not trying to criticize, but I'm not talking about Amid. I'm talking about like the people in the chat when we were on when we were doing those lives. It's like we're getting roasted whenever we're like talking back and forth on ideas and stuff, because it's like it was hard for me to be on Amid's channel, dude, because his chat is fucking toxic. Like it is toxic, dude. I caught a stream that he did with a real pretty young gal. I think it's like his new manager or something.
Yeah,
a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
and they were talking about like meetups and all this other stuff, and we were driving, and I just like put it on because I wanted to I hadn't seen his channel in a while, and he was talking about like doing a meetup in like New York or something to that effect. And then I was like reading the comments, or my wife was reading the comments, and it was all like about like just like how the woman looked or something like that. Nothing to do with anything that Amit was saying. And dude, and some of these comments were like derogatory towards this woman. And I was just like, but this is where Amit's like been doing this for a while now. And I think he's just like developed some really, really thick skin. Because I mean, these are people that are just fucking trolls. I mean, we don't even know if they're like real or not. Like they could be robots for all we know, right? I don't know.
No, they're probably real. That's the anonymity. You know, if I talk to you and say something face to face,
right? It's a little different.
Yeah, you could break my nose, but you know, there's not that, you know, block. You know, there's not that guide rails keeping you like civil. So
agreed. Yeah, agreed. So
you must see that on X.
Yeah, there's a lot of I've muted and blocked a lot of people on X here over the last year. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. But my thing is, if people aren't helping me to level up, then what do I need them for in my life, especially if these are all like virtual relationships anyway, if that makes sense, right?
Yep.
These aren't like people that I hang out with on a daily. I wouldn't know them if I was at my local grocery store, because a lot of the biggest shit talkers, they don't have faces attached to their accounts. That's a recurring theme on X, or even on YouTube for that matter. It's always people that are hiding beyond anonymity. They might have burner accounts and all this other, like they have like different, you know, screen name, whatever you want to call them, right? Like, and then so they're just talking their shit because they don't got nothing else to do with their lives. So I just don't need that kind of toxicity in my life, because how does that help us get to 100 million? So that's kind of like been the recurring theme now for the last 12 to 18 months for me. Is conversing with them getting me closer to my goal or further away? And if it's getting me further away, then why do I need that in my life? So there's some people like, oh, TJ soft, he didn't want to do it. I was like, no, it's like I'm laser focused on where I want to go. So now it's not even tuning out the noise. It's shutting off the noise. Like, I'm just not going to expend any energy into that kind of negativity because it just doesn't help get you there. It just does. And then we got to agree that like this finance, like YouTube finance, Twitter finance, it's extremely toxic. Like, it's extremely, extremely toxic. And I guess, you know, going on over 3 years on the platform now, you can see who like the serious investors are. There's some people that they're asking me the same questions today as they did 3 years ago. Their account sizes are very similar today as they were 3 years ago. No growth. How could you watch a channel like mine and seen what we've been able to accomplish live and in color for the last 3+ years and not have grown your account? But I feel like that has happened. So I'm like, okay, so they're not here for anything other than just like entertainment. So it makes sense that they're going to go watch another channel that's more entertaining.
Right.
So I always look to pluck, okay, who are the real investment minds here? Who do I have to align with? And that's why I'm so thankful for our WhatsApp group, because I see it there now. Like, I see who legitimately has something to contribute to the conversation. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm probably, with that attitude, I'm never going to get 100,000 subscribers, just so you know. Because I don't need a big army to win the war that I'm waging. I need the right 10 people. I need the right 10 people. That's all I need. I don't
Well, there's an
need.
old saying, there's an old saying, it's don't hire experts, hire good people and train them to be experts,
Yeah.
because good people will do great things.
Yeah. I like that. There's a lot of wisdom in that.
But I've had that, 2-3 years ago, friends of mine or friends at work were like, hey, I want to do what you do. I'm like, okay, and blah, blah, blah. And then they look at me like, well, I like my bottle of wine. It's like, well, yeah, you could put that $80 and buy 10 shares, or yeah, I know you like golf, but you just told me you're broke, maybe, here's 3 people to watch on YouTube Saturday. And 2-3 years later, they still, maybe their account size has doubled, but it's because they bought SoFi. But they bought Palantir.
Right. And, you follow football?
A little bit, yeah. So I'm originally from Massachusetts, so the Patriots are my
Patriots. Team. Okay. So is this showing up on the screen or not? It is. Okay.
Yeah, the Bills and the Broncos.
Okay. Awesome. So let's talk. We got Houston and New England.
Yeah.
Coming up. We got, well, if I could figure this out here first, so give me a second here. So we got Houston and New England coming up. Who do you think takes that game and why? It's literally a coin flip.
Después de un choque, y especialmente si es un camión, las compañías se están aprovechando de la gente.
I think New England, their defense is a little better.
Okay. So I think Texans have the best defense in the NFL, right? I think so. I don't know. So I always, when I analyze these games, I go position by position, like offensive line versus defensive line, and I look at those matchups, receivers versus secondary, and then I then obviously the head coaches and stuff, right? And then like who are the backup quarterbacks? Who's the backup runner? You look at the depth, and then I look at like the weather. I'm like, okay, what team has statistically performed better in these conditions, etc. Like there's a lot to look at if you really want to like get into the weeds. But this is what I concluded yesterday after the Denver Broncos won, but they lost their quarterback. The Broncos are out. So I think the winner of this game is going to go to the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to play the Seattle Seahawks. I think that the Seattle Seahawks ran over my 49ers because that was my favorite team that was left for me. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but we're obviously nowhere near the playoffs.
Now, why do you, not to interrupt, but why do you think it seemed to me the 49ers just fell apart last night? Injuries, mistakes.
Well, they lost George Kittle, right? The week before to, I think, an Achilles. They were playing in Seattle, I believe. I only watched a little bit of the game. But I don't know. I think, I mean, it's a team. It's the ultimate team sport. Like football, American football is the ultimate team sport. And, I think coaching is really, really important. But at the end of the day, the players have to make the players. The players have to make the plays. Who's Denver's backup quarterback? See, like I don't even know, right? Bo Nix is someone that is proven to be very special already. I think he's like a second or third year in the league, and he is turning into that guy. Like he's turning into that guy already. He's a clutch. He's a clutch in the fourth quarter, especially. But they don't have that anymore. So and when you're a Broncos fan, the favorite person on just about every team is always the backup quarterback. It's just, whenever the Cowboys were winning those Super Bowls and they had Troy Aikman, there was a backup quarterback. I think his name might have been like Steve Berline or something like that. And a lot of people liked him. A lot of people liked him over Troy Aikman. For the first couple of years, there was a guy named Steve Walsh that was in Miami under Jimmy Johnson. A lot of people liked him too. Jason Garrett was a backup quarterback there for a while. So it's like a lot of people always like the backup quarterback. But there's a reason that the starter's starting. You know what I'm saying? Because he's typically a little bit better. So I look at like back to Houston. I look at I always start with the quarterbacks because that's probably the most important position in football. And I'm a real big fan of CJ Stroud, the person. The quarterback was very shaky last week. Like he did everything he could to try to lose the game for Houston, right? So to speak. I'm talking about the player now. I'm not talking about the God-fearing Christian man that is very, very well spoken. I'm talking about the player on the field. But he also did show up during the big pivotal moments. I don't know enough about May, but it looks like the Patriots might have replaced Tom Brady finally. And that's huge, right? Because if you think about these superstar quarterbacks, they're very, very hard to replace, right?
Yeah.
The one franchise that I can think of that replaced a star quarterback right away was when Peyton Manning left the Indianapolis Colts, and shortly thereafter they drafted Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck was legit. And his career was cut short, I think, because of concussions and whatnot. So from the quarterbacks, I think it's kind of a toss-up for this game, Houston and New England. I think the defenses are both very, very stout. I'd personally give the edge to Houston. I feel like just the little that I've seen New England, they tend to score pretty well. So they're pretty well-rounded. And Houston has like this Nico Collins. He's a pretty big play guy. I think it's going to be a fun game. But I think it might be one of those defensive struggle games, like score 21-17 type thing, kind of a low scoring game is what I feel like might be happening. I assume they're playing in Foxborough, right? Because I think New England was the top seed or one of the top seeds in the AFC. So is that a stadium or is there a roof over? Or are they playing in the cold? I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah, they're playing in the cold.
Okay. So I'm from Texas. We don't particularly do cold too well over here in most parts of the state, unless you're like in the Dallas, Amarillo, those areas, Lubbock, it gets real cold over there. So I would say that the conditions should favor the Patriots. And the home field advantage will legit be an advantage. So who's coaching the Patriots these days? I'm a bit of a fan of the gentleman coaching the I was going to say the Oilers, right? The old Houston Oilers, the Texans. Who's the coach for the Patriots now?
Name escapes me, but
yeah.
But yeah, for me,
I know it ain't Belichick.
He's actually down here.
I know who it isn't.
Yeah. He came down here to North Carolina to retire, coach a little college ball.
Yeah, he did 1 year. Is he going to do any more, or is he done?
It's in the air. He's looking to do it, but he's got the young pretty wife, so you know how that is.
Yeah,
she does not like the limelight.
Mm.
But my approach is, I look at the elan and the discipline, game per game.
Yeah,
I learned
Vrabel coach. So I think he used to play for the Patriots. He might have been like a linebacker or something. Yeah, everybody says that Darnold could do. Darnold's had 2 exceptional years, I think, with Minnesota last year, and then now with the Seahawks. And obviously, he didn't get off to a hot start when he was with the New York Jets, but it was also the New York Jets. I'm just saying, those Jets haven't taken off since Rex Ryan was the coach. So I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah, CJ was legit. CJ Stroud's legit too. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be a fun game. Then after that, who do we have? We got. I think that's going to be the most fun game of the postseason thus far, and I think this is going to be a barn burner, and that's the Rams against the Chicago Bears. I think this game's going to be whoever has the ball last. Whoever has the ball last is probably going to win that game. I'm not a huge fan of the quarterback for Chicago, but I feel like I'm talking more about the person than the quarterback. Right? So there's like a little bit of a bias there. I like Matthew Stafford, the person, or at least what's portrayed to us, right? Because we don't really know these people, but what's portrayed to us, I like Matthew Stafford more. He fits my mold more. And I don't think that there's a more clutch quarterback in the playoffs than Stafford. So like everything's on the line. Everything's on the line, and we need that drive. I'd rather have Matthew Stafford. And he has some pretty good weapons. Like the receiver, I don't know what his name is, it's like a Hawaiian dude. Kind of a weird name. He has this tendency to make really, really big plays. Yeah, they're saying like Darnold has turnovers and stuff. I don't know. Maybe he's just a real good game manager. I don't know. I don't follow it enough, but Seattle's going to be a tough out, man. Seattle's going to be a tough out. I feel like they can win. They can win in so many ways. Caleb's awesome. The quarterback. Again, my bias is the person, right? Like there's something about him that I don't like. I don't know him. He's a kid. But there's just something I don't like. But this dude is fireworks, bro. He's must-see TV. He won the Heisman at USC. Absolutely turning into an absolute phenomenal football player. I still like Matthew Stafford, the quarterback. I mean, I'm gonna rock with all those touchdowns, passing yards, a crazy cannon for an arm too, and experience. So I think that the Rams have an edge in quarterback, but Caleb's coming too, right? I just don't think that he's there just yet. But it's the whole like Bo Nix, right? Like it was a coming out party for Bo Nix yesterday. It's real unfortunate, dude. The last couple of plays of the game, he hurts his ankle, right? Like that just really sucks all the way around. Because Denver was, man, they beat Josh Allen and company, dude. And to me, Josh Allen was the best quarterback left in the playoffs until the end of the game yesterday. This has been, again, it's like it's always recency bias. That's like a lot what the stocks are, right? Like you don't get any views unless you talk about like the hot shit, right? That stuff that people want to talk about right now, like the flavor of the week. But I've been watching football, as most of us have, for years. I mean, played football in high school, all this stuff, right? Dude, this has to be one of the most competitive playoffs I've ever seen. Like just about every freaking game is like a nail biter at the end. It hasn't been like when freaking Cowboys won in 91, 92, 93, right? Like the back-to-back Super Bowls 3 and 4 years. And then they beat the Buffalo Bills 52-17. You know what I mean? Like the first real blowout that we had was yesterday with San Francisco.
Yeah.
Every other game for the most part has been competitive. Yeah, I think it is those black nails that throw me off. I mean, just those black nails really throw me off, man. I don't know this kid. This is where I'm showing my flaws as a human being, but I'm being very judgmental towards this kid because those gothy black nails. I'm not really digging it. A lot of UFC fighters paint their toenails, and it doesn't bother me over there, but over here it does. So I don't know one damn thing about Caleb, but those nails really don't do it for me. The dude's a talent, though. The dude, like, he's a legit talent. Have you seen the Chicago Bears play? I think they call them the Cardiac Bears.
Why is that?
Because they're always losing, dude. And in the fourth quarter, they freaking turn it around, man. They turn it around. It's almost like if they're losing by like 7 to 10 points in the fourth quarter, it's like they got you right where they want you. And then, dude, it's like all of a sudden the entire team, everything shifts, and they get a hold of that mojo, and they know how to turn it on, dude. It's been real fun, dude. They're probably one of the most entertaining teams to watch right now. That's gonna be a good game. I think I'm gonna play the over. I don't know who's going to win. I don't care who's going to win. I'm going to be cheering for touchdowns and field goals. That's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. It's a true story, I think, there.
Well, any sport, I mean, basketball is usually close, but any sport that's close, keeps you engaged. Like, last night it was okay, maybe they come out of the halftime huddle and no, It's like growing up, my dad would take me to a game, and third quarter, we'd always leave to beat traffic out in Foxborough. But sometimes it's like halftime.
All right. What are these guys saying here? Let's check on Twitter. So what are you up to today? Just recovering?
Yeah. Weather yesterday was sunny, so I went out and walked the beach and got some fresh air. And then today it's cold and miserable. So make some hot breakfast and then watch a game or two or whatever's on the ESPN and go from there.
Nice.
Yeah. Back to work tomorrow, so I work outdoors, so got to be good.
I don't have the answer. Did y'all see what I read? Can you see Twitter right now, Mark?
Yeah, so if most Bitcoin miners are pivoting to the economics are so much better long-term, who the hell is going to mine Bitcoin? Things that make me go, if Bitcoin was going to $1 million, why would a Bitcoin miner be so quick to sell it? So is Riot, are they buying now that it's kind of hit a low? I know they're talking about
Riot just committed to selling like 1,000 Bitcoin or yeah, like 1,000 Bitcoin to like fund their their deal with ADT, because they signed ADT to like 25 megawatts with the potential for like up to 200. That could be a pretty substantial amount of money.
So is Riot expanding? Like, was it wind power? What do they run off of?
Yeah. So Riot now owns the land in Corsicana.
Okay.
So that's why they sold the Bitcoin, was to buy the land, because they were leasing the land.
Yeah.
But they own the power.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you really own the power if you don't own the land, right? So, because when Jason explained it to us when we were in, I think it was in California or in Corsicana, I don't remember, but he was kind of like talking about the structure. That was the one thing that I was like a little bit puzzled on, is like, why didn't they like buy the land?
Yeah.
I understand that maybe not being able to buy the mineral rights, but like, why don't you at least own the topsoil, so to speak?
Yeah.
So I think they locked that in. During this deal. So maybe it gives them more autonomy, perhaps.
Well, they don't have to worry about their lease running out or
Right.
their lease payments going up. They're locked in as far as their cost.
Yeah. So they did that yesterday, and in order to, obviously they have Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So I think they're taking like 1,000 of those Bitcoin or so to like pay for that land. But my thing is, okay, Bitcoin's at 95,000. If we legit think that Bitcoin's going to 1 million, that's a 10x.
Yeah.
Is all of this pivoting going to get you a 10x? I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying. But I deal with those types of decisions all the time in the portfolio, right? Because there was a time where in the big account we had 150,000 shares of SoFi. What does it look like if we just hold the shares, right? But then I was like, well, I found a way to make money just selling strangles, and I don't have to own the shares now. I have more optionality. So because I run the portfolio like the business that it should be, I'm a lot more lenient when companies pivot, because I have to pivot on a daily basis, it seems.
Yeah.
But I'm not a publicly traded entity, so I don't suffer all that scrutiny aside from the Warren Buffetts in the chat, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to answer to the board. I don't have to do any of that shit. So I don't know.
Well, my problem with Bitcoin is everybody's, it's going to 10x. It'll be $1 million a coin.
Right.
But what is that timeline? Is it 10 years, 20 years?
Which is still great.
Yeah. But if you can do it through power,
yeah,
in
but
10 years and the numbers,
let's stay right here, because that is the issue with hodling versus being active and selling premium. Because if I'm in the right situation, let's just say because there's enough money here to own 500,000 shares to 1 million, depending on the ticker. And let's just say BM&R, half on BM&R, half on BM&U, got rid of everything, right? I could sell enough premiums on BM&U. I've already done this exercise, and we've actually considered doing it. It would go down as the most reckless trade on YouTube X, transparency wise, but it would probably make us a shitload of money. But I considered owning 250,000 shares of BM&R and owning probably 500,000 shares of BM&U and selling very aggressive calls on BM&U and selling far out of the money calls on BM&R, like 90 days out. And it generates $500,000 to $750,000 a month in premiums, with the potential for a lot of upside. But I think that's what Bitcoin mining is.
Mm.
It's like high risk, high reward. Whereas on the other side of the coin, you have something like SoFi or an Enphase that's a little bit more of a sure thing for a double to the upside, but you're unclear of the time frame. But you also know that they're not going to go to zero. So I think that's what hodling Bitcoin is you know that there's a double on the horizon. You don't necessarily know when. Forget about the 10x. You know there's a double on the horizon. You don't know when, but you also know that it's not going to zero. And that's why I feel like a lot of Bitcoin miners feel about Bitcoin. But if you just hodl them and you don't do anything else, well, there's no cash flow. So how do you at some point, you're just going to keep draining the balance sheet, right? And a company like Riot, I mean, my God, dude, Jason can't stop talking about the balance sheet. Right? I mean, every interview he's ever had, the balance sheet. Oh, look at my perfect 10 balance sheet. And it is a good balance sheet for a company that size. It's freaking phenomenal. There was a lot of pain endured by the shareholders to get it there, but they got it there. There's a lot of dilution is what created a stout balance sheet. That's just, calling a spade. That's what they did. They diluted because dilution was the solution for an awesome balance sheet. It was the cheapest money they could get. Dilute the shareholders, pump out more shares, do at the market, right? And freaking shore up your balance sheet. And now you're going to have optionality down the road and keep selling that narrative to the investors and hope they rock with you. And I was one of those that rocked with them, right? Some people are like, no, I'll revisit you when you have your shit together. So now there's a lot of people that didn't deal with any of the dilution. Now they go and explore Riot again. They're like, oh, now they pivoted to HPC AI. Now they got to deal with ADT. They've already hinted that there's more deals coming. They figured out how to mine Bitcoin. I could see a path, not just to profitability, to sustainability. Now Riot looks a lot more attractive. And that's why there's a lot of people that will make more money with Riot going from 20 to 100 than people ever made from 8 to 20, because that rides a lot harder. You know what I mean? So the more seasoned investors, institutionals, they're like, I'll go take a look when you get that deal done with HPC AI. Now you might see a lot of institutional money flooding in to the Riots, because now it feels a lot more viable to them. And again, it's a game of doubles, right? So it's like they don't care where the double happens. Do you want the not for sure double from 8 to 20 or double and a half? Or do you want like the sure double now? Because I feel like it's a foregone conclusion that Riot could get to $100 a share if they line up a couple more tenants, right? A couple more of these hyperscalers. Investing's hard, Mark. Investing's hard. But what I wanted to pivot real quick, because I want to end this at the 2-hour mark. So I wanted to talk about how I want to show studying the companies. So we're going to talk about the M's for a little bit. Yeah. But I'm only going to focus on one M right now, and that's management. So how do you study management? Or is it something that you don't even look at before I tell you how I study the management?
No, it's the number one thing I look at is management. And I study them listening to the quarterly earnings and any interview. And, I look for one interview, just a question outside the box, try to trip them up, not intentionally, but what we consider why didn't he think of that? Or why didn't she think of that? Or that doesn't make sense. And then red flags start going up, and then it's a deeper dive.
Right.
Or, that's my number one thing is that's one of my strengths in my career. The last 3 or 4 years, I've become really good at picking management apart. So.
So I study their resume to see what they did to even get the job. In other words, did they earn a job, or they were just right place, right time for the job? Were they just handed a job? Was there a lot of nepotism involved? Like, I look at all that stuff. Like, how did you get there? In other words, are you Sam Walton, or are you Sam Walton, or are you just the heir? There's a big difference, right? Because the kids didn't know as much about Walmart as dad did. That's the reality. So I always look at the origin story of how the Jason Lesses, the Anthony Notos got that job. I start there with the management. Like, I look at their whole life, their whole career, and how they got to that point. And then I go through the quarterly reports, because to me, the reason quarterly reports are so important is because management, mostly the CEOs and the CFOs, they have a chance to tell you what they did. They're giving you a report card of what they did, right? That's how it works. But then they also make some forward statements. They give you some guidance that tells you what they did. So when you have a company that's been around for a while, like now SoFi and Riot, they've all been here now for a handful of years public, right? More so on Riot than SoFi. You have a track record of these quarterly earnings statements, and you match them up with the calls, and then you look at the forward statements, and you see how many times this CEO has hit their mark. How many times have they overpromised and over-delivered? How many times have they under-promised, over-delivered? How many times have they overpromised, under-delivered? And they start creating a track record in my mind. And Anthony Noto, it's fair to say that he's very conservative on earnings calls, because his strategy and his philosophy, I feel, is to under-promise and over-deliver. Would you agree with that statement?
No, that's it exactly.
Because we have enough evidence we have empirical data that suggests that statement to be true from me. Because we can pull up earnings reports and we can match it up to the earnings call, and this guy sandbags. It's fair to say that Anthony Noto sandbags on earnings because he wants to have double and triple beats. So there's a consistency there. And he has said over and over, they're a one-stop shop for all things, all your financial needs. We want to know, what can we do to help the customers today to improve their tomorrow? Like, he has all these catchphrases that he says with a lot of regularity and consistency, correct?
Yeah.
So it breeds confidence as an investor, is that the guy's not changing his tone. And he's like, we want to be a top 10 financial institution from a market cap perspective. Yeah. How many times has he issued that statement throughout the years? So then now I pair that up with, okay, well, what did he do during his tenure at Goldman Sachs? What kind of game did he talk, and how did he deliver? What kind of game did he talk when he was the CFO of this company, or the COO of this platform, right? Twitter.
Yeah.
What kind of game did he talk, and how did he deliver? And that is really what it comes down to with management, is what kind of game do they talk and how did they deliver? Because if they've been the CEO for any length of time, at least a full year, you're going to have 3 or 4 earnings calls, and you're going to be able to match those up with the report card from the previous earnings calls, right? Because an earnings call is, this is what we did and this is what we're going to do. This is what we did and this is what we're going to do. This is what we did and this is what we're going to do. So after a calendar year, you're going to be able to look at this earnings call, and does it match up with what they said they were going to do? And when you start finding those inconsistencies, Mark,
Yeah.
It gives
Okay.
you
So
a moment to pause.
well,
Go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt. And so any changes that happen in a company is a flag. It's a checkered
Yeah.
flag, a red flag. Okay. So one of the things normally, Anthony Noto, earnings are Monday, Tuesday. The stock price jumps, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the stock price is beaten down. Have you seen that pattern?
Yeah.
Okay. Earnings are on a Friday. So will the short?
Usually earnings calls are on Monday pre-market.
Yeah.
Historically.
Now they're on a
Friday post-market, right?
No, pre-market.
Pre-market. Okay, I like that. I like that as pre-market. It's always pre-market. I don't like companies that deliver after the market. I don't know why. I prefer not.
Yeah.
Because I want the market to have the entire day to digest it.
Yeah.
So what are my thoughts on earnings being on a Friday?
Yeah.
Pre-market, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I think about it. I think it has to do with their share-based compensation, their performance stock unit, their package. And what expires on Fridays?
Options.
Yeah. So I think it's a very strategic. There's a lot of strategic reasoning there, probably based on the options chains and where they think they can pump the price, because I think that SoFi is about to deliver the best earnings ever by a long shot. And the best guidance by a long shot, meaning I think a very meaningful raise by a long shot. And I think they're probably going to get very, very close to releasing something that people were holding their foot to the fire on for about a year, and that's Galileo delivering some good,
Yeah.
like something meaningful to the bottom
Look,
line.
He promised in the summertime, August, September, that he'd have 10 new customers, major, for
Right.
Galileo.
Right. So I just think that it makes more sense to do it on a Friday and try to drive that price up and lock it in. And then the market has the whole weekend to digest, but the numbers aren't moving. And then maybe they can hold those gains versus reporting on a Friday and the euphoria starts fizzling out.
Yeah.
Reporting on a Monday, the euphoria fizzles out by the Friday because there's already other earnings that the market has digested along the way, because the market suffers from shiny object syndrome, in case you haven't figured it out.
So there
This
could
is
be
again me being CEO armchair quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think it's very bullish that they're pivoting from Monday to Friday, personally.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Because he worked at Goldman Sachs for a while. And I really think he understands what the street wants.
Yeah.
So he probably sought counsel and probably had a lot of people in his ear saying, hey, if you pivot to this day, historically, this is what happens to stocks when they report bang out earnings on an expiring options Friday versus on a Monday. I don't know. I mean, again, this is all speculation. I don't know. And then unfortunately, we're in a situation where earnings alone doesn't guarantee that the stock is going to move up, because if the Dow goes up, the NASDAQ goes up, the Russells go up, right? Everything mostly goes up, right? If it's trading with the trend. And I think that we have to agree that SoFi is that stock. It trades with the trend. It's not like Tesla, where everything could be bleeding out. If Tesla has some freaking news that they just delivered, Tesla marches to the beat of its own drum. It's a trendsetter. SoFi is not a trendsetter. Like, we don't have historical evidence that suggests SoFi is a trendsetter as far as the way that their stock trades and the crazy multiples that it commands. So we need two things. We need the SoFi earnings to be good, and we need for the overall macro story to hold up. because SoFi is dependent on that, in my opinion. Whereas Tesla that's where Tesla is such a mind-boggling monster.
Mm.
It is, dude. The world can hate Elon. The world can hate Donald. The world can be in complete disarray. And they're like, dude, we're launching robotics. We're doing X, Y, and Z, and 1, 2, 3. And it's just like, what do you want to do? You're going to bet against all this? Are we going to get locked into this multiple valuation right now? Because we're thinking 10 years ahead. You're either along for the ride or not. And they know how to FOMO the shit out of you, don't they? Because anybody with the sane mind that knows how to do some basic napkin math knows that Tesla is pretty damn overvalued. Okay. If you're going to judge it based on the numbers they're delivering. I mean, if you don't understand that basic math, I can't help. I can't help you. But when you start potentially quantifying their potential, man, it gets very exciting. And it's like, I don't know. I don't fully understand it, but I know that I don't want to miss out. I don't know that there's ever been another publicly traded company that knows how to produce as much FOMO as Tesla. It's amazing to me. Because, dude, I know that shit is overvalued right now. I know that they're delivering less and less vehicles, it seems. Like on the surface, the fundamentals are getting crappier and crappier. But the potential is getting higher and higher, right? So it's like, how do you balance that? And then the beautiful thing about SoFi, pivoting back to SoFi so we could wrap up because I got to go. The fundamentals of the company have become exponentially better since it's been publicly traded. And they weren't necessarily with favorable macro conditions, right? Like they dealt with so much, dude. Like they took their number one product away, which was student loans. And they were able to become very malleable and they had to pivot. So I feel like SoFi spent the first couple of years as a publicly traded company on survival mode. So now the question really becomes is whether or not they're going to be able to take advantage of this inflection point, because now is not the time to survive. Now is the time to thrive, because now you have tailwinds. You no longer have all of these headwinds. So this is why SoFi feels like a brand new investment to a lot of us, in my opinion. We've never seen SoFi deal with all of these tailwinds.
And it's been stuck in a range.
I haven't seen it. Have you? Because we've been in the same.
And it's been stuck in a range for 6 months or 5 months.
But that's a coiled spring. That's what you want.
I know.
That's what you want. So
it's annoying, but yeah.
It's about to be fun, I think. I think it's going to be fun. And, that's why SoFi could be a candidate for like one of these horses. Even though it doesn't really qualify, because I'm already in it. How can we do it, right? But I'm saying, like, I could make a very compelling case on how SoFi could easily double by the end of the year, with utilizing options as well. I'm not just talking about the share price going from 27 to 54. I'm talking about, or 26 to 52, whatever it's at, right? I'm talking about like if we utilize options, because there is some juice in that lemon. I think that it could be very compelling. Anything else you'd want to add on the management thing? Because I think that we're given a lot of value right here. Unfortunately, there's not a big audience here, but hopefully we can get the word out. But dude, these earnings calls are so critical to evaluate management if you're willing to hold them accountable. And like when they miss the mark, how do they handle when they miss the mark? Is it just a bunch of excuses, or is there just things that just were not in their control? The market changed? Because I've had to see Jason Les field that question a handful of times since he's been CEO.
Well, for me, I look at what is the task they need to accomplish, execute, and do they have the personality? I work construction, so I work with superintendents. They're the best trainer, but for the life of me, they can't fire people.
Right.
They'll sit there like, well, I don't want to take his paycheck away. It's like, then why do you bitch that he never comes to work, or he shows up late, or he half-ass it? You know, it's just, it's odd about people like the CEO of PayPal, the new Alex Cross. When I saw his intro video 2 years ago, I'm like, this is not the guy. PayPal is a rat's nest, and it needs a piranha. And, you know, that was a personal thing. But, yeah, I'm giving an example. It's like, okay, what do they need to do? And Anthony Noto, he executes, but he just doesn't get me excited, you know. But I know he's going to execute, and I'm going to go through times like SoFi was $7 for a year, and people laughed at me. I'm like, no, I'm acquiring more shares. I'm acquiring more shares. And then the spring let loose, and it was 14. And then 4 months later, it was 33. So, but that's my long way of saying, yeah, just for me, just look at the way he's talking or she's talking. And then, you know, it's like, is that the person? Do they have that fight in them or that ability in them to go up against what they need to do?
Yeah. Agreed 100%. I'll end with this. The most important thing that I look at when it comes to the management is, are they aligned with shareholders? Meaning, do they get paid more, exponentially more, if the stock goes up? Or is their salary so damn good already that they're kind of indifferent?
Yeah.
And that is the most important part of the management M for me, but it's also the hardest part. Why? Because I grew up with this belief that you don't count other people's money. So it is something that has always created an internal conflict for me. When I'm sitting there trying to dissect Anthony Noto's compensation structure, Jason Less's compensation structure, to determine whether or not it's aligned with the shareholders. Because on the surface, you would think that they're all aligned.
Yeah.
But not every CEO is Elon Musk-like, if you will. Because if anybody has ever had his compensation package tied to shareholder appreciation, right? Stock price appreciation, it's Elon Musk, yes or no?
Yes.
I mean, this dude on paper, I mean, yeah, he got some shares along the way, right? But like, he didn't like really draw a hefty salary. He had to hit all of these numbers because when he took over for Tesla, right? See, we can argue whether or not he's really a co-founder or not, right? Because that's a discussion for another day. Because I don't really think he is. I think he got in when shit was going to hit the fan, and he's like, I need to be put on the masthead, right? Like, I want to go down as one of the co-founders. But it was in absolute shambles when he really got involved and sunk his teeth into it. And he was able to like raise the capital and deal with the government and get the loans from the government and keep Tesla afloat, go beg, borrow, and steal whatever he needed to do. And he's like, hey, but pay me if I get it to these levels. And he did. And then he's had to go to court a couple of times to go defend what he did. This dude delivered, and he has to go defend. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
Tesla wouldn't even be around anymore.
All those people complaining, and it's like, then you made 10x, sell out. You know, why are you depriving this man of making you a fortune? It boggles the mind.
But it's, again, it's counting people's money. There's something that sounds dirty about it, right? It feels dirty.
Yeah.
But it is something that I do.
Yeah.
It's something that I do. And one of the companies that I've considered for this challenge is Marathon Digital. But one of the issues that I have is the management M, because I have never really felt like I was aligned as a shareholder with Fred Thiel. or any of the executives for that matter. So I was like, I just don't feel like we're on the same team, if that makes sense. Whenever I study the M's, the management M, the only thing that I'm trying to conclude is whether or not we're on the same team. What I mean by that is above everything else, above yes, the viability, the survivability of the company, because without that, the stock doesn't matter, doesn't exist, right? But we just all got to be in agreement that we need this thing to go up and we need to minimize the dilution so that we get max value as shareholders. Are we on that team or not? Are we on the same team or not? Or are we on the Titanic and they're already on the life raft and we're just hoping that we're not part of we're part of the women and children, right? Like where are we at in it? I'm just calling a spade. That's what I think about. That's what I think about. Or you're already getting a couple $100 million a year and you don't give a shit. Or you're getting $1 billion a year. If you look at the compensation package of these Bitcoin mining CEOs, it's egregious. Like if you're willing to call a spade, some of it's egregious for what they've delivered thus far. So I'm like, it's real hard for me to want to be invested in companies when I feel like we're not on the same compensation team, if you will. Because I have to pay to participate in the compensation as a shareholder, right? You got to pay to play. But I don't want to get played.
Yeah.
And that's where it's the most important M, but it's also the toughest M. It's the toughest M, because we don't really know how it works. I haven't been the CEO of one of these publicly traded companies. Have you, Mark?
Nope.
Like, are we just their ATMs? What are we?
Well, thanks, TJ. I'll let you go. Enjoy your football today, and I'll talk to you later. Take care, buddy.
You too, man. Appreciate you, Mark. Appreciate you. Not familiar with SATL, to be honest with you. But anyway, guys, I got to run. Enjoy time with your family. Enjoy time with your friends, with your God. Enjoy football. I hope you're blessed with good health. I hope you're working your way towards wealth. Enjoy the long weekend. I'll catch you guys on Tuesday. TJ the Will Deal signing off. As always, Mary Sky, stay blue, stock screen. Peace out. God bless you guys.